Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Lost Coast podcast. Today, we got a very special guest with us, Oralia Acosta. And she's a certified health coach. And she has spent the last 20 years in the holistic health area on making people's health better. And today, she's going to give us a little background on what she does and how it helps and affects everybody else in this world. So, Oralia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just
Yeah.
fine.
Perfect. Okay.
So tell us a little bit what got you started in the holistic health number one, and where it has taken you and got you right now to this point.
Perfect. Okay. So I'll be brief, but I do want to go all the way back to when I was a little girl and I was a very picky eater. Guess what? I had a lot of gastrointestinal issues. In fact, about 30 years ago, I was living in Italy and I was doing very well until I started to have a lot of very severe stomach issues. And it is precisely the stomach issues that prompted me to come back to this country. And that's when I started my holistic health journey. And I say that because I started looking for natural methodologies to help my body heal. I've not been one that does well with drugs. My body has the MTHFR gene mutation, which means that the body does not detox as well as it can. And everyone knows that drugs, while at times that they are necessary for those that have the gene mutation, this MTHFR gene mutation in particular, we have a very hard time detoxing. So the drugs go in, they do their work, but they don't detox. And then we start experiencing a lot of very serious side effects, which is exactly what I had. So due to all of these problems that I've had, I started looking a few years ago into health coaching, and that is what I did for a few years. And then last year, my mother passed away, and I decided that I was done with health coaching because I find that health coaching is a very difficult field to get into and be successful. I want to share something with you, Corey. The majority of health coaches that are doing well is probably 5, 6, 7%, and that's at most. Many of the health coaches that I know and that I started with in my health coaching school are no longer doing health coaching precisely because they can't make a living out of it. They've got good coaching skills and they're good at what they do and they know what they're doing, but it's getting the people to come in and take the time to actually modify the behaviors. That's what's challenging. And unfortunately, many people don't want to invest. Now, many people honestly don't have the funds to invest, and that's where someone like a Mod Financial would come in. But there are people that do have the funds, and yet they choose not to do it. And you know that old saying, either pay the farmer now for health by getting the best quality food, because yes, food is one of the major and most important things that we can do to improve or degenerate our health, or you can pay the doctor later. And trust me, paying the doctor later is not the route to go. Then again, everyone has choice. So at the beginning, so last year, as I was mentioning, my mother passed away, and I decided I'm done with coaching. I'm tired of chasing after people. It's not fun, and it certainly didn't pay well. And so I took the rest of the year off to go through the mourning process, sort out my mother's affairs. And this year I was looking for something to do. And I have to tell you that having been involved in the holistic health field for the past 20 plus years, bits and pieces, discovering what to do, what not to do. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that. Oh, have you heard of this? I wanted to stay relatively close to doing that. And that's when I discovered this patch that I'm wearing, which is the X39 stem cell patch. And right along with that, I want to say that I'm getting older. And that's something that I never really thought about. But my body has been telling me because it takes longer to recover. I start to forget things. My hair turns gray. I need glasses. It takes longer for me to recover after a workout. I'm really sore. I get tired. All of these things are part of the aging process, which I had never thought of because I'm very action oriented and I'm a go-getter and I'm up and about. But when the body actually physically slows you down, it's trying to get your attention. No one likes growing older. The wrinkles start to set in, all of those things. And a friend of mine introduced me to the Lifewave X39 stem cell patch. And I tried it, and it's really done a lot of good for me. And it's so easy because all you have to do is peel the sticker and put it on. Wear it for 12 hours, take it off for 12 hours, and you get the benefits of activating your body's stem cells, your own body stem cells. What a wonderful gift. Because outside of that, your choices are get an injection of stem cells from someone else that could be coming from aborted fetuses, which brings up a moral issue for many people. You don't know what you're getting. It's cost prohibitive because it's anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000, which is what Tony Robbins got. He got stem cells to the tune of $25,000. When you get these stem cells injected, there is only a 40% chance that they will work. Why? Because there's someone else's stem cells designed by the divine, however you envision that, for that body, not your body. That's another big drawback. Another drawback still is that they stay localized. So if you get stem cells injected for your knees, which is very common, and in fact, I've heard that surgeons are doing this as part of their therapy to help people recover from knee surgery, you are getting your own dormant stem cells injected back in your body. At least it's a step in the right direction. However, you're not getting maximum benefit. Because one thing that's very important is that once you hit 30, half of your stem cells are dormant. And this is in the scientific literature. You can find this anywhere. Once you hit 60, you're lucky if you have 5 to 7% active and doing the work that they should do. Because as we age, the stem cells go dormant, which in turn is like a vicious cycle because that's what causes the breakdown of the body, which is the aging process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's, I got one clarification I think maybe that we
Yes.
need to make.
Yes.
So, as you said, the doctor's doing knee replacement stuff. They're injecting you with the stem cells, and you said they're injecting you with your own dormant
Right.
stem cells. Now,
Right.
if they're dormant, are they doing any good?
No.
Okay,
That's
so
the whole point.
why do they inject you with the dormant ones then?
Because it's less expensive than getting an injection from somebody else's stem cells. And because probably there's less risk. And this is something I just found out about. In fact, I know a doctor who injects people's own stem cells and he's into pain management back into the body. But what he hasn't, or what he hadn't realized until he started using Lifewave, the X39 patch, is that these are dormant stem cells. They're not doing you any harm, which is a good thing. And stem cells will never do harm unless you're getting something else that you don't know about.
Right.
So it's just a practice that's ineffective. There are a lot of ineffective medical allopathic practices, which allopathic means not holistic. And that's what they're doing in the hopes that it will work. There are many doctors on the Lifewave team that are using this for their patients and getting optimal results. So how good is it? You brought up a good point. It's not very good. And I had a friend of mine that told me that way before he started using the patches, he went to his doctor and said, okay, doctor, I've got $10,000. I'm willing to get stem cells injected. What kind of guarantee can I get if you inject me with stem cells? And this is talking about someone else's, not his. And he said, I can't, I'm sorry, we don't do that. Why? Because those stem cells are for that person and you don't know how they're going to react in your body. The other thing is a few years ago, and I read this online, there was a lab that had given stem cell injections, and everyone that had gone to that lab ended up in the hospital with sepsis. They promptly closed that lab down. I couldn't find the name of it. And it doesn't matter at this point, but you really don't know what you're getting when you're getting stem cells from someone else. which is why getting your own stem cells is a better alternative. But will it work? And the answer is there's limited function there.
Okay, so we call them, as if I'm referring this to right, dormant stem cells, right? They're not really active.
Right.
Now, does this patch, this X39 patch, revigorate them dormant stem cells in a way? Is it bring itself back to life?
Sure. The patch is absolutely fascinating. This is actually called a medical device. It has been cleared by the FDA as a medical device. So it doesn't need approval. A lot of people say, well, I only do things that are approved by the FDA, which is kind of shocking to me because at this point, I think a lot of things about the FDA have been revealed. I'll just leave it at that. However, this does not require approval because it is known, it is considered as a device, a medical device. And that is because it's something that you wear, but there's nothing in this patch that comes into contact with the skin. I don't know if you can see it. It's sugar and it's enzymes and nanocrystals. And the way it works is beautiful. It comes into you put it on your skin, and we give off infrared light, which is the same thing that allows police officers or law enforcement to find you at night, because they put on those special goggles and they see the infrared light. I've seen it. I'm sure many people have seen it. So that activates the patch, which in turn sends a low frequency vibration to your body to wake up the copper peptides, which in turn activate your stem cells. And this is how the body works. The body is not just, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to get this. The body truly is a complex, magical, miraculous, mysterious still to this day. So no, the science isn't settled. We're still discovering things about the body and how it works that never ceases to amaze me. And anyone that is in the world of holistic health will admit, I don't know everything, but we know this much. And then tomorrow we discovered something else. This is new. This came out in 2020. This is brand new technology. And there are still a lot of people that are not aware of this. Now, I just came back from convention 2 weeks ago, and there were a panel of doctors that were discussing how this helps their patients. One of the things one of the doctors said to me was shocking, although it's really par for the course. So he said that peptides were being taken away by doctors, even though they worked. So what you see here, let me just be totally candid with you, is a battle between big pharma and holistic modalities. I agree, Corey, that if tomorrow someone, let's say Joe, were in an accident, no offense to any of the Joes out there, and no wishing them bad luck, you are not going to put on a patch right away. You will go to the emergency room, tend to your trauma. That's what emergency rooms are for. Get that handled with whatever drugs are applicable at the time. But drugs were not intended to be used forever and ever and even beyond the grave, which is what you see now. I have a question to pose for your viewers, and you can answer this at your leisure. We have a marketplace that's flooded with all sorts of drugs. Every time you turn on the TV, even now that we have the Olympics on, I don't have TV in my home. I don't have programming. You see tons and tons of advertisement for big pharma. As a result, you would think that if big pharma were actually creating health, we would have a healthier society. And we definitely wouldn't have had the virus affect many of us the way it did, right? But what do we actually have? The opposite. I'm going to say about 90 to 95% of the population has metabolic syndrome, which are all the markers for diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attacks, arterial sclerosis, etc., etc., etc. So what I'm saying and what I'm inviting the listeners to do is to do some research on this and see how this could possibly help your body to create its own health. That it's as simple as that.
So let me ask you this then. So this patch is going to help revigorate your stem cells, where we've all heard a lot about the stem cell stuff, where, it's been a major issue, of course,
Right.
medically, and what's right and wrong.
Right.
But this patch, you take it, is there if your knee hurts, is that where you put it on your knee? If your back hurts, is that where you put it? Is there a better way to, I'm just thinking like, okay, I got back pain, is it better just put it on my back, or is it okay still to put it on your shoulder? Or how's it really, what's the working piece of it?
So the working piece is that this is patented. The gentleman that invented this, his name is David Schmidt. He has over 150 patents. He's a brilliant man. And they had to go through rigorous testing when you get a patent, and it's very expensive. It's not something you just say, hey, this product is really good. This is a nail file, by the way. It does this and this and this. Oh, okay, here, let me patent it. No, it takes years of research, study. I think it takes at least $1 million or so. So you've got to have deep pockets. So this was tested in 2 places when they did their studies. On the C7, which is right where the little bony part is of your neck and the back where they meet. Right here, I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
And the other place is 2 inches below your belly button. And so those 2 places were tested, and that's where we got the results that we got. We needed 2 places that were consistent, so we could say we've tested it. However, you are free to put it wherever you want. If your back hurts, put it on your back. Sometimes my body has hip pain. I put it on my hip. Sometimes my brachii, which is this little part of the arm, hurts from chopping, because I do a lot. I'm also a wellness chef. That hurts, and that is where I put it on. And I'm one of the lucky people. I have felt 9 times out of 10 immediate relief when I put it on. Not everybody's like that. Those are called one patch wonders. But because everybody is so individual and has their own chemistry and biochemistry, this works different on everybody. But it does work because we have seen and done tests. We have tons of testimonies, and we have scientific literature, papers, and then you can always go to PubMed and look at how activating, you can just see that this, you can wake up your stem cells. And you're right, Corey, stem cells are all, I hate to use this word, but all the rage. Doctors are talking about it. But you mentioned something very important, which is the controversy. The controversy is because they were taking stem cells from aborted fetuses and using those. And that, in my opinion and my estimation, is unethical. And most people would agree with that. And that's where the controversy happened. Unfortunately, I've mentioned stem cells to a few people, and they're like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. But that's because they are ignorant in the true sense of the word, which means they ignore the facts. They ignore how it works. But then when I've explained it to them, most of them have gone ahead and tried the product and have gotten good results.
Yeah, because your product's not necessarily, it's not stem cells.
No, it is not.
It's not stem cells. It's just helping re-energize your stem cells that you have in your body now.
Right.
So you're not taking a chance of getting bad or good stem cells. It's just they're reactivating your own personal stem cells.
That is correct.
So what is, you mentioned that, there's some one-hit wonders where they get, they feel relief, when they put the patch on the first time. What would you say would be an average test time for most individuals who actually start the process of the patch?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people, we're humans, and humans are funny. I used to belong to a modality for life that said humans are cute, but we're not so bright. because here we've been having this problem for 55 years. And all of a sudden, we put on a patch and we want it to work right away. And so we give it 2 or 3 days and, well, that didn't work. Well, that's not the way the body works. It took you 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get this way. You're not going to get this way in one day. It takes anywhere from 90 days to, which is 3 months to 6 months. It takes anywhere from 90 to 180 days. What this does, and I'm going to read some results because they're fascinating. This is what the long-term benefits are. Within the first few days, you have 4,000 genes that begin to reset. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced, which means that there are decreased symptoms of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. I've experienced this myself. Within 3 months, the collagen is increased. So your wrinkles decrease, hair growth increases. I've got a lot of baby hairs. Increases structural integrity of both your skeletal and muscular systems. Because up to now, women want collagen because they want to have plump, beautiful skin with no wrinkles. But collagen is the structure that holds in place the tendons, muscles, and ligaments. So it's talking about the integrity of your structural mass, your body mass. It's very important for more than just looks. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. And they did a recent study on this, and 14 out of 15 people lowered their vascular age by an average of 8 years just after 6 months of using the X39. So it's not rejuvenation, it's age reversal. There's a big difference between that. And so this is something that you can expect, but you have to give it time. Now, some people will say, well, do I have to use it forever? Okay, I have a question for you. Do you have to exercise forever, or can you just exercise, let's say 6 months, and then stop and expect to maintain that body? No. Do you take a shower once and then say, I'm done with the showers. I did that last Saturday and I don't have to take any more showers? Well, good luck with that. I don't think it'd be too much fun to be around. But we don't think about that when it comes to food. Well, I got to eat my 3 meals a day. Okay, well, the same thing. You need to wear this. And I say need loosely because you don't have to. And the funny thing is that there are some people that have used this, gotten results, gotten off, and those symptoms come back because the body continues to progress in age and the stem cells continue to go dormant. So in my opinion, you need this. Now, one thing that I do want to mention.
You're just really feeding, I like that, and what you said about the food, you got to eat her 3 meals a day. Well, all you're doing then is feeding your stem cells with this patch. They need to eat. So there it is. So you're just feeding it, put it as a process of your meals that you take and
right.
have it in the system. So everything is working at its best it can do.
That is correct. There is an image, and I can share that with whoever wants it, of a woman that was experiencing, I believe, depression, and she was 70. And they did a topography, which is where you have the light that shows up and indicates inflammation. So red light indicates inflammation. I think she was on the product for 90 days, and all of that inflammation had gone away. So depression is inflammation in the brain. And to think that your stem cells, your brain has stem cells, and those are going dormant. That's why we forget things. We have fuzzy thinking. We're not sharp. And you're starting to see this more and more in young people. I was in a meeting recently, and someone told me that he was in the financial world, and he had a friend that wanted to join him, but he couldn't because he didn't remember facts to take the test. And this is really scary because think about it. People are getting older. The whole population across the board in the States is getting older, and we don't have that many new births. So those people will have to support via Medicare and Social Security, all the older people. But if they get sick at an early age, because the person that I'm mentioning here, his friend was only 45, and you do see cases of Alzheimer's at 45. Alzheimer's is due to lifestyle, which includes food, and dormant stem cells. Do you want to walk around with dormant stem cells? You've got a family to support, you've got your business. I'm on my own. I'm an only child. It was just me and my mother. Now it's me and my puppy. I don't have anyone that I can turn to. I need to take care of myself. And I will tell you, Corey, that since I started using this product, I am sharp. I'll think, oh, I need to do this. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's there. Oh, I need to, oh, yeah, that's right. It's right there. Yes, I remember. It's fantastic to have a memory that works and that responds. But in order to do that, you need to do the things that will help your memory. So all you're doing is helping your body. That said, I don't want anyone to think, well, I can continue eating, I'm just going to say it, garbage, fast food every day, and not exercising and staying inside and not getting outside and getting sunlight, not socializing. And I'm just going to put on the patch and it's going to help everything. It doesn't work that way. I still exercise. Now it's sunny again. I'm grounding, which means I go out and put my bare feet on Mother Earth because she has an electromagnetic field that is scientifically proven to be very healthy for us, and it doesn't cost a dime. I get first morning sun, which is the first hour of sun, which doesn't have the harmful rays. That's very good. And I notice a difference. I mean, do an experiment for yourself. Do one thing one day, see how you feel, and then don't do it a day later and see how you feel and compare. I can tell you when I'm outside in the morning grounding, even though it's burning hot in Southeast Texas, I feel much better and do much better that day. When I'm into contact with people every day, when I go out, even if it's at the grocery store and I share a smile or joke or say hi, when I get out and when I move, I'm a better person than when I don't. And recently I had a sinus headache and a tinge of a cold, and I was miserable and I didn't go out because I didn't feel well. I didn't do very well those days. So your own body will talk to you and tell you what it requires. And when you're open and willing enough to try something that costs $3.30 a day, and you get results and you give your body time to undo some of the damage and start working properly, you will see your body will give you feedback. I had someone that was on the patches that her feet used to get really swollen and cramps, horrible cramps. She couldn't walk for very long. And all of a sudden one day she put her feet up and she noticed, wow, I don't have those cramps anymore. Why is that? Because we are so quick to notice what's wrong, but then when what's wrong starts working, like our body, we don't notice. But I'm glad that she caught it. So what I suggest everyone do is take before and after pictures of their face and also make a list of things that aren't working well or that you'd like to see improvement in.
Yeah.
Get on the product for 90 to 180 days and see how you feel. Your body will tell you. But you have to do all of the other things that go along with it because this works very well when you're hydrated. And it also works very well when you're moving and you're active with other people. You're in communion with other people. One of the things that I always suggest people do is take filtered water and add a pinch of Himalayan salt, which is the pink salt, and lemon, because that is very good. It allows the water to enter your cells. And if you have some type of, like the Kangen water machines, which are excellent, use that. But these things all work in conjunction. And even your doctor will tell you, you know, that old comic strip that says where the doctor is examining the patient and he says, well, I don't know what you had last time, but you got it again this time. Why? Because the person's still doing the things that led up to that, knowingly or unknowingly. And if you want to stop experiencing that, then you've got to change. And change, I will tell you, change is one of the most difficult things for humans on the planet. And changing the habits and the lifestyle, you're getting deep to the matter. It's not just don't eat at McDonald's every day or don't eat fast food. It's why are you doing that? Well, because I'm hungry and I'm in a rush. Well, why don't you take the time to make your own food? Well, I don't know how to. Well, can you take a class or can you get a recipe online? I can even send you tons of easy recipes, which will save you money, time, and going to see the doctor. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay. And that's your choice. And there's a consequence to every choice that we make.
So
And there's also, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, so that's what I was gonna lead in here to next. So you got the patch that we know, what I say we know that it works, right? So it's gonna help people, but you're not there just for the patch. You're when people come and they reach out to you, you help them with a line of all different kinds of stuff within what they're doing for their health,
Right.
correct?
Right.
So you're gonna
Yes.
coach them to make sure that at least the patch is getting the help that it needs, also to make sure the body and yourself can shorten the span of making the patch work.
That's correct. For the next 10 days, I'm offering a 1 hour consult where you will tell me what's going on and I will give you holistic approaches. And some of these may require you doing your research because I can't take the past 20 or even 30 years of things that I learned when I lived in Italy of herbs and things that help and give them to you in an hour session. But I'm here to help you or assist you to do your research and give you things to do that will hopefully help you. Sometimes the conditions are serious and more involved, like, and I'll give you an example, the MTHFR gene mutation, which is something that I'm learning about. That really changes the landscape for a lot of people. And it does affect you and it does matter. And I'm learning about that because my body has that. One of the most important things that I would like to suggest your listeners do is immediately cease from saying, I am this or I am that, because I am are the two most powerful words in the English language. And the moment you say, I am sick, the universe delivers illness to you because you're confessing it. And it even talks about that in the Bible for those that follow the Bible. If you say, I'm experiencing a cold, which is what I was saying last week, that's completely different. You're not taking ownership of it. It's like when a person says, I am diabetic, and they've accepted that as their identity. And instead of looking for ways to reverse diabetes, because it can be reversed, that's part of the metabolic syndrome illness that 90-something% of the population in this country is facing. And I would even venture to say worldwide, unless you're in the Amazon where they don't eat all these refined processed foods, it can be reversed. And even, I'm going out on a limb, but there's proof of this, not me. I don't treat people or I don't take on clients with this. There's even proof that diabetes type 1 can be reversed with a very strict diet. I don't handle that, but I can point you in the direction of people do, because my target, what I'm up to causing and creating, is health. Whether you say, well, I'm going to do the patches and I also do doTERRA oils, which you can't see, and I also do grounding, and I also journal to get out those emotions so that they're not locked up creating havoc in my mind all day or all night. It's especially important to do it at night and declare yourself complete from whatever happened during the day, so that it kind of is like a little escape valve for the brain, so that you're not ruminating all night. And rumination is a big part of the COMT gene mutation, which is another matter. So you see how health is very complicated, and there are doctors that handle each specific area. But when you talk to someone that is in the holistic field of health, you're talking to someone that takes all of these things into consideration and will either help you with some of them or point you in the direction of someone that can help you with that. I'll give you an analogy. It's a very good analogy. If I step on a nail, I'm going to experience pain and inflammation. If I go to the doctor and he looks at my foot, and this is typical of what allopathic doctors do, they'll give you something for pain and inflammation, but they don't look at the nail that's still in your foot causing the pain and the inflammation. Now, that's a dramatic example. If you go in with a nail stuck in, the doctor will take it out. Of course, hopefully he won't leave it there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that when it comes to another part of the body, they just look at that body part and they don't look at how it plays with the rest of your body. If I tell you I'm anxious and you give me a pill for anxiety, but you don't ask me, why are you anxious? Well, I'm anxious because I don't have a job. Okay, well, what steps are you taking to get a job? And I just give you a pill. You're going to come back a month later and say, I'm still anxious. Well, wait a minute. What's causing that anxiety? What's going on in your life that's causing that anxiety? Do you have the COMT gene mutation? Those are just two examples.
Right.
Are you drinking coffee at night and expecting to sleep? Well, yeah, I am. Well, your doctor doesn't talk to you about any of that, but a holistic practitioner that is well versed in these different areas of health will touch on those subjects. Some will go deep because some specialize in this, others specialize in that, others specialize in gene mutation. And health, I want to tell all of your listeners, is a very complicated, complex matter. And if you have someone telling you this product, whether it's a mirror or a patch or whatever, is going to solve all your problems, they are misleading you. You still need to do the work, which takes me back to that famous saying of the monk that went to Buddha and said, Buddha, I've meditated for 8 hours. Now what do I need to do? And he said, chop wood and carry water, which means you still need to do the work.
Right. So as we bring this to a close, what's the best way our listeners here can get a hold of you so they can take you up on your offer? Number one, we got 10 days from today's date, everybody, 7/31/2024. So if you listen to this thing a year later from now, I'm sorry, but you missed your chance, but she's still here to help, and I believe you should reach out to her. So what is the best way they can reach out to you to get hold of you?
I am old-fashioned and I like a phone call, and I do have appointments throughout the day. If you leave me a message, I will call you back. If you text me, I will respond, but I'm not one of those people that's afraid of phone calls. I actually do answer my cell phone. My number is 832-858-4260. And my email is my last name dot first name @gmail. So it's Acosta, ACOSTA .Oralia, ORALIA @gmail. Now, if you send an email and you don't get a response, it could be because it went to spam, because we know that email systems do this. Other than that, my goodness, I will respond. Call me. And I am genuinely interested in contributing to the health and well-being of at least 1 million people before I leave the planet. I know that when you feel well, you do well. And you can see that in yourself. When you don't feel well, you just want to go into hiding. My mother lived with pain for the past 20 plus years. And the last couple of years, it got really bad. And she had dementia. And she was not a happy camper. She was miserable. And she was very difficult to be around. So it's my intent that people get healthy by doing simple things. And that's what I offer in the consult. What's going on? What can we do now at a low cost or no cost? Because there are tons of things. Even something as simple as stretching in the morning and stretching in the evening. And if you're at work, sitting down, which you and I are, I've got a stand-up desk. Stand up at least once every hour or so. That's going to help you. Get up and move. Sometimes I'm consulting with people or signing them up and I'm on my phone walking, because that's important that my body be in movement. The body and the brain love movement.
All right, that sounds great. I really appreciate your time today and the information you've given us. Is there another story here that we can get that kind of puts a seal on this deal, as per se? A great story you have of a past client or something that, or someone that where this
I'll-
has changed, where you have changed their life?
I will give you my story. And I share this because I think that after 2020, many of us were dealing with depression at the time and anxiety, and some of us still are. This is a very big problem for humanity across the board, especially in those countries that went through very severe lockdowns, which we did here, not in Texas, but in this country. So it just so happened that, as I mentioned last year, my mother passed away, and I was extremely depressed and going through the grieving process. And one thing that I hadn't noticed, which as I speak about it, I noticed has subsided, is anxiety. So then the depression went away, and this year the anxiety kicked in. Possibly the anxiety was there all along, but I hadn't noticed because I was too busy caring for my mother, even as she was in assisted living, and dealing with the grieving process. And I couldn't think straight. So I started wearing the patch, and the depression, I've been on it for going on 6 months, finally lifted. And I'm still working on the anxiety, but I'm so much better. And it has taken me 6 months being on the patch to start to normalize my sleep. I still wake up in the evening. I do drink water, something else that I will be working on. I think I know what's going on there. But I am able to go back to sleep, because before I would get up and not go back to sleep. And I would cry in bed asking the divine to help me with sleeping, because the body needs to sleep. That's when it does its healing work. That's when the brain gets rid of gliadins, which are the toxins in the brain. And you wake up rested and refreshed. And I'm finally there. I'm finally to where I'm sleeping well, and I feel good about sleeping. So I share my story, not to be egocentrical, but to give you a firsthand experience of what you could possibly experience if you were to try these patches.
Well, that sounds great. That's awesome. We're going to bring this to a close, and we really appreciate you being on the show today and sharing all your insights, and giving our listeners also the opportunity to reach out to you so you can help them help themselves.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. So this is the Lost Coast Podcast. We will be signing off, and we thank you all for coming, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.